Yes, sir.
To Penelope. In the movie, there are also many brutal scenes. Do you think that The Council is a typical movie for men, or do you think that also women will watch the movie?
No, I don't think it's just a movie for men. I think it's a very smart, very interesting movie that a lot of women, I mean, I talked to a lot of people that night, and it was the first time I saw the reaction from people to the film 2 nights ago. And women love the film. And I also think it has to do with what we're talking about the way the violence is treated, because some women are covering their eyes in some of the scenes. But at the end, you feel like there is a reason to show that. I mean, you don't go home wanting to be part of that game. You don't go home wanting to be like those characters, no matter how cool they are, because it's not worth it, because you can feel that pain and that darkness, and there is nothing interesting about that for yourself. And again, it's not like telling people what to do, or I don't think movies are there to change the world or to give anybody a lesson of how to behave, but this is an important subject, the one that movie talks about, and one that keeps going on, and it's important to treat it in a responsible way, I think.
Yes, ma'am?
I very much like the scene with diamonds, with the diamond you bought in Amsterdam, and you gave the diamond to Penelope. What did you learn, both of you, about diamonds?
They're fucking expensive. That rock that I was looking at in the scene apparently is about $300,000 worth of diamond. Yeah, I found out that they're very expensive.
Penelope already knows all about diamonds.
Laura doesn't want to know the price, remember?
Sorry.
So
Should have covered your ears. I forgot.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of learning, a question from Mr. Fassbender. Given your research into Mexico and the cartels and all that, how hopeful are you? Is it that bad? I mean, we were getting quite bad news all the time from Mexico. Are you hopeful? Can they pull themselves out of the misery?
I'm always hopeful. I think, without hope, it's like, what's the point? I might as well... I don't know. I think, yeah, I'm hopeful. I think it's pretty dire. It's pretty scary. I didn't realize how many sort of young girls actually go missing down there, as well as sort of... I was aware of the violence. I've obviously seen images of people hanging from bridges and how brutal it is, and that sort of goes back to, what Penelope was saying. If there wasn't violence in this, it wouldn't really ring true in the subject matter. And I think, everything's building up to it, the way that Cormac sort of writes and the provocative writing, but then the action follows. And it's just one of those things, drugs, it's such a profitable business, and there's so many people that are going to get involved in it, and there's a marketplace that's readily available. So it's just, in terms of business, it's always going to be a very serious one. I mean, I think, some of the cartels are like their own countries in terms of the wealth that they have. What I think is scary is how far-reaching they are outside of Mexico. And I think we're seeing a little bit of that in programs like Breaking Bad, but not a lot of films have really dealt with it and touched on it. But it's, yeah, it's a very, very serious situation down there.
Gentleman right at the back.
Yes. I asked the same question to Mr. Scott. The Counselor is a very American story. But all of you are Europeans. Why do you think?
Why we're European? My parents just met in Europe. I don't know.
No, I don't know. I think that's more for Ridley, why he cast who he cast.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's a Ridley question, I guess. You asked Ridley, did you? So what did he say?
He wanted the best, so he...
There you go.